The House Oversight Committee has been wrestling a bit with the Department of Justice over the Jeffrey Epstein files that are still unreleased, which by the Department of Justice's own tally is like 3 million. And there was a bipartisan vote to subpoena the Attorney General. Yesterday, Committee Chair James Comer actually issued that subpoena for Attorney General Pam Bondi and ordered her to appear on April 14th. Weeks from now, they would prepare, she would come in. But then something weird happened. Bondi and her top deputy, Todd Blanche, just went to Capitol Hill today under the pretense of fulfilling their obligation for the subpoena, but with like zero preparation, right? And then about 30 minutes after going into the hearing room, it was a closed hearing, not public, Democrats stormed out of what they said was basically a Pam Bondi stunt.
This fake hearing, we found out about it yesterday with no time to prepare, with no format given to us. We opened up what was supposed to be a briefing by asking the Attorney General, which I did multiple times, if she would commit to follow the subpoena that is in place that compels her to answer questions that's under oath, transcribed, and then made available to the American people, and she refused. It is outrageous, it's infuriating, and it continues this White House cover-up of the Epstein files. It's also clear to us that this is being staged as some kind of fake hearing.
Virginia Congressman James Walkinshaw serves on the Oversight Committee. He was in the background of that shot. He's one of the lawmakers who walked out of that hearing tonight, and he joins me now. All right, Congressman, I just want to make sure I understand this. We've followed on this program. Obviously, it's like all congressional committees, it's a majority of Republicans and fewer Democrats. They're in the minority. But Nancy Mace initiated a subpoena vote that got a few Republicans, so you were able to vote for that subpoena. The chair then issued a subpoena yesterday, I guess, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, so he issues and says, April 14th, we're issuing a subpoena, and obviously Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, others, is the estate's accountant. So then what happened next?
Well, yesterday after the subpoena was issued, we learned that Chairman Comer had communicated, I guess, with the Attorney General and scheduled this closed-door, private, secret briefing. And I was immediately skeptical, but I thought perhaps a briefing in addition to her under oath testimony in a deposition would add some additional information to our investigation. But when we arrived to the briefing, we learned quickly, A, she had no briefing to provide. She offered no information. Members were allowed to ask questions, and the first question that our ranking member, Robert Garcia, asked is, will you commit to appearing before our committee under oath for the sworn deposition as the subpoena required? And she was immediately evasive and refused to commit to following the law and complying with that subpoena. So it was clear that today's secret briefing was an effort to avoid that sworn under oath transcribed deposition where the American people could watch the video and read the transcription. She would have to answer under oath. It's an effort to avoid that.
Wait, so they're trying to pull off some sort of bait and switch where Comer and her arranged for her to come down on no notice, answer questions, and say, I have fulfilled the lawfully mandated subpoena, which requires an oath. I've been subpoenaed before. And this was going to cross that off the to-do list? Was that the plan?
I think that was the goal, or at the very least, give her a talking point to justify delaying complying with the subpoena or not fully complying with the subpoena. So she would have that talking point out there. It's kind of tragically ironic that this administration that has done everything in its power to keep the Epstein files secret wants to have a secret briefing to explain why they continue to keep 3 million files secret. It's secrecy, 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 which is what the American people are fed up with this entire Epstein saga.
She has been asked about this, and she's been evasive, but generally said she'll follow the law, which usually means complying with the subpoena. Here's her when she was asked about it today after this hearing, saying that again. Take a listen.
Will you commit to complying with that subpoena and appearing for a closed-door deposition?
I made it crystal clear I will follow the law. Next question. Next question.
That strikes me as not a yes. and maybe they're gonna try to throw up some obstacles to her? I mean, is it your anticipation that they are now trying, their wheels are spinning to get her out of the deposition?
Yeah, that's right. I think they want to avoid, and she wants to avoid having to answer these questions under oath. And at a minimum, she's going to try to drag it out and avoid coming on April 14th, which is the day that Chairman Comer set in the subpoena that he sent to her.
You know, this committee's work has been interesting because, as I said at the beginning, obviously it's a majority of Republicans, and Republicans can kind of use that as a kind of pure partisan tool. And while clearly the committee has run a fair amount of interference, I think it's fair to say, the majority in the committee for the Trump administration, there's been enough of these sort of jailbreaks on these bipartisan votes that it feels like the committee's getting a relatively lot done. Do you think this stunt works? Like, do you think you have enough Republicans on that committee to join you to pursue getting this subpoena done, or they can use today's stunt to diffuse that?
I do think we will get the subpoena done, and for a lot of reasons. The law is clear, but also, you know, Chairman Comer recently set a very clear precedent with the Clintons' deposition, right? When they didn't come on the day that he wanted them to come, and he immediately pursued criminal contempt charges against them. So we have a clear precedent as a committee that when you get a subpoena, you show up. Can there be a reasonable conversation around the date, a mutually agreeable date? Sure, of course, but you got to show up. We set that precedent with the Clintons, and Attorney General Bondi is going to have to follow that precedent and answer questions under oath.
All right, Congressman James Walkinshaw, thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks, Chris.